as that of adults, and they had no serious side effects. So that's a big deal. Considering those under 18 make up of about a quarter of the population in the U.S., if we want to reach that herd immunity, kids will need to be vaccinated. But Pfizer's study results have yet to be handed over to the FDA or published in a scientific journal. But it does look like middle school kids will now be able to get vaccinated before the start of the school year next year if the FDA signs off.
Very little concern in the long term as far as what we think is going to do in terms of children's development or, the way that children are going to grow up. That being said, we'll continue to study these. And again, it's not over. These trial participants will continue to be monitored by Pfizer and the other manufacturers for at least a couple years.
Now, Pfizer and BioNTech, the other company that developed this vaccine, they plan to ask the FDA for an amendment to their original emergency use authorization to include those 12 to 15 years. No word on when they will turn over their safety data to the FDA, but when they do, it may be another couple of weeks and then a public hearing, of course, before the FDA signs off on all of this. So likely at the earliest, probably early summer if all goes well. And Dr. Medina is expecting the same results coming out of Moderna because they started testing theirs in January with kids. So they're expecting probably very, very similar results. Then Pfizer is now already started last week. They started testing it on kids age 5 to 11, and then soon they're going to be testing it on kids 6 months to 4 years old. Bets.
Well, man, it seems like all along kids have just done better with this virus than adults no matter what. And man, much more efficient, better efficacy in kids with this. It's certainly very exciting. But that's not where the news ends as far as the vaccines go. The CDC director said Monday it appears those who are vaccinated don't transmit as much virus. Is that right?
Yeah, this is huge. She mentioned this on Monday night, and, they did a study of healthcare workers, and they found real-world data that does show that those fully vaccinated were not transmitting virus to those who were not vaccinated. Another study in Israel showed the very same thing. So this is really big, positive, hopefully getting us back to normal news.
This is the herd immunity, that shutdown of the virus we've been waiting for, certainly. Monica Robbins, always a wealth of knowledge. Thank you so much.
Oh my God.
It was another emotional day in court as more witnesses testified in Derek Chauvin's murder trial. The former Minneapolis police officer is facing several charges in George Floyd's death. New video released today shows the moments before Floyd was killed. Here's NBC's Jay Gray with all the new details.
I'm going to have you identify this individual here.
George Floyd.
Previously unseen security video showing George Floyd just minutes before his fatal confrontation with police.
I just saw him as another customer.
Christopher Martin, a cashier at the Cup food store, describing the situation, telling jurors Floyd seemed, quote, high during a brief conversation. It was Martin who took what appeared to be a counterfeit $20 bill from Floyd as he paid for a pack of cigarettes.
When I saw the bill, I noticed that it had a blue pigment to it, kind of how a $100 bill will have, and I found that odd, so I assumed that it was fake.
It was that exchange that ultimately led a manager at the store to call police. Martin, who had asked Floyd twice to come back into the store to discuss the situation, was outside as things escalated.
I saw people yelling and screaming. I saw Derek with his knee on George's neck on the ground.
It will be the truth and nothing but the truth.
Charles McMillan saw it too. Overcome with emotion as police body cam video is played during his testimony. So upset, the judge calls for a short break.
Oh my God.
For those who have witnessed this crime, whether by video or in person, that trauma is being revisited as this trial plays out.
Scars that will likely continue to be revealed over the next few weeks here. There was another extended pause in the trial today when a juror who felt ill told the judge she hadn't been sleeping and that she was dealing with tension. She declined medical attention and said she'd be fine to continue. Jay Gray, NBC News, Minneapolis.
Now on your feet at 5, the Cleveland Indians home opener is under a week away. It's coming up on Monday. And as a new season is welcomed in at Progressive Field, some things will not be welcomed. Will Hewitt joins us live now with the details. And Will, this is kind of getting a lot of people, talking this afternoon because we're addressing more of the racially sensitive things that a lot of folks just, I don't know, there's some concerns over the headdresses and the face paintings. I'm trying to work my way around that verbally, but that's just pretty much what it is, right?
Yeah, Betsy, I spoke with someone from the team today who said they've been working with Native American groups around Northeast Ohio as they try to transition away from the mascot, away from the name. And this is one of the things that they came up with. So anyone coming into Progressive Field that has a headdress or has Native American face paint on will be turned away. Now, if they do happen to show up inside with it, they'll be asked to cover it up, take it off, or they could be escorted out. Now, regular face paint like having a block C or a player number on is still permitted, as is clothing with Chief Wahoo on it. The spokesperson said the target of the policy is to rid the ballpark of offensive stereotypes that infringe on traditions and cultures of Native American people. Now, it's taken years of protesting, but now as change begins to take place, those in the Native American community say it feels like their voices are finally being heard.
No, this is absolutely the product of over 60 years of fighting. This is a form of systemic racism, and it's rooted in a lot of prejudice and stereotypes. What I like to say is we're permanently feathered and leathered in the past rather than your neighbors, your coworkers, and your classmates. So it's really encouraging to see these changes happen, and our community is truly looking forward to showing who we truly are.
Now, as far as Chief Wahoo still being permitted on apparel, I spoke with the chair of the Committee of 500 Years of Dignity and Resistance. That's another group that the Indians are working with as they transition away. And he basically told me that the Indians told them that getting Chief Wahoo out of the ballpark on fans is a pretty tall order. It's on sleeves, it's on backs, and it's not realistic right now. Now, while they are a little bit upset about that, they do understand that logic and are saying that they understand change sometimes, Betsy, takes baby steps, and they're hoping they can fully move away from it in the near future.
Well, that's the plan, certainly, in the next couple of years to get away from the Indians' mascot and name and everything altogether. Certainly something a lot of folks here in Cleveland and beyond are watching. Will, thank you very much. And don't forget, everybody, you can watch the Indians home opener right here on 3. Coverage starts at 2 p.m. on Monday with our special. Their game against the Royals starts at 4:10. And if you're going to the game, remember, tickets are now mobile only. No paper tickets anymore.
Well, it's no secret that the pandemic has been particularly hard on the restaurant industry, and the Battleground restaurant in Kent is no different. But today they're feeling extra grateful. This weekend, a couple left a $1,000 tip. Our Amani Abraham shares their story and how it came on a night that they really needed it most.
What began as a normal dinner service didn't quite end up the way Rosie Noden thought it would.
I wanted to cry every time that I went to each table and tell them that something happened. I'm so sorry.
Noden is the co-owner of Battleground Restaurant in Kent. COVID-19 forced them to close their doors multiple times last year, and they had just recently reopened on March 18th. But last Saturday was difficult, to say the least.
It was terrible. We feel terrible. This is not how we want to do things.
Short-staffed and busy. She says 2 servers called off in the middle of the shift. A chaotic night, most of which was spent apologizing to customers.
I went through many times trying to hold my tears, many times.
Some customers left, while others continued with their night, offering support and understanding. And at the end of the night, one couple left Noden speechless.
This person got up and said, "Can I talk to all of you?"
They offered words of encouragement along with a $1,000 tip.
His kind words for us and for the servers, that was just like, the cherry on the top.
Noden says the couple, who asked to remain anonymous, left her feeling thankful to work in such a supportive community.
I gained so much knowledge about a restaurant business just from one night. I felt enormous gratitude, but enormous room to learn from mistakes and keep going.
Amani Abraham, 3 News.
Love to hear those
That's like
stories.
the second time in 2 weeks that's happened. I wish it would have happened when I was a restaurant server, but you know what? I think it is well deserved, well earned, and very timely.
And oh my gosh, on an opening night, nothing ever goes right on an opening night anywhere in any industry whatsoever. But at a restaurant, there are so many finite details that have to go in perfect sync in order for things to go smoothly. An opening night is usually really tough anyway. So,
and look, if you can't leave $1,000, just maybe an extra 20 or 25.
The words of encouragement,
You know?
that's worth a lot more, you know? Tomorrow's another day, do it over again.
There you go.
It's all gonna get better, certainly. Well, next up for us here on What's New, getting in gear. Jason Fraser looks at some of the best at-home workouts that won't break the bank.
Even though he's begging for a Peloton? Okay. Well, plus, we got a new look from Michael Strahan. The signature gap in his front teeth is gone. And this is not an early April Fool's, guys. And social media is skeptical. We have details coming up in the pop break. And Matt, pretty chilly this last day of March. I don't like it.
Yeah, I know. Listen, hey, at least it's going out like a lamb. There's not a whole lot going on weather-wise. That's the good news. Live look at CSU Cam right now. It's not rocking like it was yesterday, but it's colder outside. We all know that. So your outdoor dining forecast for this evening, probably best to grab a seat inside. I don't know if you guys can see that sign that said tonight's special's chili. You guys get it? Anyway, inside's better. We'll give we'll give you that forecast. I got more of this coming up.
But
Thank you.
welcome back. It is Wellness Wednesday, and a new study from the American Psychological Association shows that 61% of Americans had an undesired weight change since the pandemic started. You know, The COVID-15, we all got it. But at the same time, purchases of at-home exercise equipment soared over the last year and aren't showing any signs of slowing down. So in the latest in our The New You series, our Jason Fraser has more on what you need to consider before investing hundreds or even thousands of dollars into your own home gym.
The pandemic has resulted in a number of changes to our lives and the way we stay healthy, particularly the gyms we use to exercise in. All of those changes may have resulted in unintended consequences, according to Katie Lawton of the Cleveland Clinic.
A lot more weight gain has kind of, impacted a lot of people, within that 10, 15 pound range. Eating habits have changed a little bit. Exercise has declined.
According to a recent survey, 37% of Americans say they've gained some weight, while 25% say they've actually lost weight during the pandemic. So why are some more successful than others?
Motivation. The gyms have been closed.
The changes have inspired many to bring their workouts home. And if you're looking to get your rear in gear, here's a few simple steps, according to Lawton.
Don't plan your exercise around your day. You need to actually have a time frame to say, okay, at 8 o'clock in the morning, every single morning, I'm going to do some form of exercise.
If you're thinking of buying equipment, Lawton says, first evaluate what type of exercise you're comfortable with. Not all workouts require those expensive bikes or workout equipment either. Sometimes just doing full body workouts without equipment can be just as effective for weight loss.
Are you going to be doing jumping jacks and burpees? If you're not quite sure if you have correct squat form, probably now's not the time to be doing 100 squats.
And now that the weather is starting to get nicer, don't forget about what Mother Nature has given us for free.
There's great metro parks around here that we can kind of go for hikes and, do some sightseeing.
And because COVID has now canceled many of those big races, you may want to consider doing a virtual one.
You're signing up for a race and they kind of give you a deadline of a time frame. And you basically time yourself. You're left to do the race on your own. So you're picking a distance and you're going out and you have a certain date that they want you to try and complete that distance by.
Bottom line, know your limit. Lawton says, whatever you do, get active sooner than later. Either way, it's never too late to get started. In Cleveland, Jason Fraser, 3 News.
Oh, certainly the weather has been cooperating every couple days in order to get out there and do a little bit of exercising. Nothing consistent yet, but there's always tomorrow or maybe the day after tomorrow. Let's go with that, certainly, Matt. We have some changes that are on the horizon.
Yeah, we do. And Betsy, today's kind of that in-between day where we're seeing that transition back to the colder air. And tomorrow's going to be our low in terms of that pothole we've been highlighting. And then off to the races this weekend. Weekend looks fantastic. We couldn't set up Easter and opening day for the Tribe any better than this. So we've got some changes around here, but just as quickly as it'll change one way, it'll change the other. So I mentioned we're in between today. We're back into the 40s for most of us. You can see the shadow of the lake with the wind coming off Lake Erie from the northwest. Lake water temperatures running in the 30s and 40s. So you see that 40-degree outline here with that air mass over the lake. Meanwhile, we're in the 50s down towards the south. It's actually a very comfortable afternoon, very spring-like. Kind of seasonable for this time of year, but things are going to change once again tonight. Notice how the clouds increase. A little bit of rain changing over to some snow overnight tonight. We've been highlighting this. You notice temperatures are down as well. Those winds will pick up once again. They've been breezy. They'll be gusty tonight, tomorrow as well. And in terms of snowfall, I'm just going to bring you back to reality here. We still have about 4.9% of our seasonal snow left. That's historically or climatologically speaking. Our average date of last measurable snow isn't until April. And doing some digging, 8 out of the last 9 years, we have had snow and measurable snow beyond this point. So it's still in the cards for us. The good news is we get these brief flings with springtime a little bit more frequently here. So our next round of snow hasn't developed yet. You notice we've gotten quiet. We had the sun peaks as expected as round one of all that rain pushed on out. But down towards our south, look at this sweeping frontal boundary. This is bringing cold air all the way down in the Gulf of Mexico. They could use it because they've been humid down in the south over the last couple weeks. But there's another little wave that's going to develop here. That will bring some rain and snow up into Pennsylvania areas along the state line. really where we're going to get some of our snowflakes tonight is going to be courtesy of the lakes. And you can see it already going. There's some cold air spilling across the lakes. Not quite here yet, but that will likely pick up some lake effect snow tonight, and that will continue throughout the daytime tomorrow. This is a chunk of cold air. I mean, this is 15 to 25 degrees below average. This is heading south, so this is going to set all kinds of record lows over the next 2 days, especially areas that already have the foliage down towards Tennessee and Georgia. So this is what it looks like on the weather maps. Notice tonight, 11 o'clock, we're still quiet. It's after midnight we'll see some of these lake effect snow showers develop. Some of these could have some pretty decent rates with it. There's pretty good, decent amount of moisture and cold air aloft, so we'll have to watch. It's not just the primary snow belt out east tomorrow. It's pretty much area-wide. We may see a band develop in the secondary snow belt. Snow will come and go, but keep in mind, it is almost, actually tomorrow's the first day of April, so that sun, when it peaks out, will likely melt the snow, and then we'll get a coating again. How much? Maybe 1, 2, 3 inches at best. A lot of that's going to melt out in the primary snow belt, but everyone, I think, are going to see some flakes tomorrow. Union Home Mortgage 7-day forecast, we warm up from there. Saturday, near 60, some sunshine. Easter Sunday looking great. Tribe Home Opener still looking great as well. And next week we bring back some rain. So Romney, if you just shut the blinds and lock the door for the next 2 days, it's like nothing even happened.
Good advice from the expert. I think I'll take it. Thanks, Matt. Next on What's New, a man's trip to the grocery store turned into an invasion of insects. It's coming up in our Worth a Watch. You know that sound. That means it's time for your pop break. A new response from Britney Spears about that Netflix documentary. Kobe Bryant's daughter is headed to college soon, and Michael Strahan has a brand new look. Here's Carrie Cotton with the details.
Britney Spears is finally speaking out following the release of the New York Times documentary about her life. Framing Britney Spears was released in February, and according to the 39-year-old singer, she cried for 2 weeks straight over how she was portrayed in the doc. In a video posted to Instagram yesterday, she wrote, "I didn't watch the documentary, but from what I did see of it, I was embarrassed by the life they put me in." In the video, she's dancing to Aerosmith, an act she says helps her feel, quote, wild, human, and alive. Kobe and Vanessa Bryant's oldest daughter, Natalia, is proving to be both beauty and brains. On Tuesday, the 18-year-old announced that she would be attending the University of Southern California this fall. She shared the news in a post on Instagram saying, "See you soon, USC. Fight on." In true mom fashion, Vanessa celebrated her daughter's accomplishments with balloons, merch, and a pair of custom sneakers. She also posted a video of the moment she was accepted, saying, "I know Daddy is so proud of you. I am so proud of you. Your hard work and dedication was so worth it."
It was 50 years in the making.
Michael Strahan has closed the signature gap in his teeth. The former NFL star turned broadcaster shared a video of the process to social media on Tuesday.
If I talk to my friends, if we don't do it, talk to my business partner, be like, don't do it. But I got to do what I want to do for myself.
The new look comes as a surprise to many, as Strahan has exuded confidence with his gap. He even tweeted last week that he rocks his gap with pride and that it's who he is. Well, not anymore. Now, many are speculating that with April Fool's Day being right around the corner, that this may be a joke. So we'll just have to see if he's sticking with his new look. But all in all, this is a lesson in doing what makes you happy. Back to you guys.
I can't wait to see him smile now. I'm just like, it's going to be so
smile. I was
different.
out there.
I'm excited for him, though. I'm not excited about this. If you're terrified of bees, fair warning to you. A massive swarm invaded one man's car while he was grocery shopping. Can you imagine if this happened to you? This is in Las Cruces, New Mexico, thankfully. The man didn't notice right away. He started to drive away with the bees in his back seat. He pulled over to call for help from a local fire department and a beekeeper who ended up removing about 15,000 bees over a 2-hour period. Now, nobody was hurt, but I mean, the swarms of bees, you know, they are known to kind of cluster. My big fear would be, you know, they're Africanized bees down there in the deep south and in the desert southwest. And those are the bees that
But Betsy,
get very angry.
He started driving off. I'm like, did you not hear the buzzing of 15,000 bees? Sir.
Maybe he had his ear pods in
I
and he was just like bebopping to the music.
I guess, but I'd have crashed the whole car. Take the whole car and no free honey? I'm done. I'm done. Okay.
Take the car.
Well, keep watching because we still have a lot to get to in the second half an hour of What's New, including putting money in your pocket. We have the details on a new hotline pairing Ohioans with employers. Plus, which industries are willing to pay for your education.
And just like us, pets are about to deal with a lot of change as we get back to normal work and school routines. Our Laura Queso focuses on what you can do now to avoid doggy anxiety when you return to the office. We'll be right back.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
Well, welcome back, everybody, on this Wednesday afternoon to What is New. I'm Betsy Kling, along with Romney Smith, who's in for Jay today. And, you know, this is one of those days, Romney, that I think a lot of people are like, all right, we're chugging forward to a holiday weekend. There's a lot of spring breaks taking place next week. So the horizon is getting brighter for us.
But for me, it's a little brighter, Betsy, because I'm done in about 30 minutes. Just want to rub that in for you. Let you know it's my Friday. But that's okay. Anyway, Betsy, we have a really great story coming up in about 20 minutes that we're going to tell you all about a new career hotline that's actually going to link people who are looking for work with employers who are looking to hire. So I think this is going to be really helpful for a lot of Northeast Ohioans.
It's a timely topic for sure. So we're going to turn around now and take you to 3 things you need to know here at 5:30. Today was day 3 of the Derek Chauvin murder trial. Prosecutors showed new security footage of George Floyd inside a store moments before he was killed. The cashier who took what appeared to be a counterfeit $20 bill from Floyd took the stand today, telling jurors that Floyd seemed, quote, high. The body camera video of police restraining Floyd on the ground was also played again today, making some other witnesses very emotional.
Now let's take a look at the state of COVID in Ohio. We came in just under 2,000 cases at 1,989. That's about 300 above the 21-day average. When it comes to vaccinations, 29% of Ohioans have received at least 1 dose, so that's good news. And if you take a look at this map, look closely, you can see Ohio is in line with most other states when it comes to vaccinations. Ohio and other states that you see in blue on your screen have fully vaccinated between 15 and 19% of their populations.
And number 3 today, Delta will stop blocking middle seats. Come May 1st, all seats will be available for booking. The decision to not offer the seats for sale, those middle seats, it came when the pandemic began. The airline will also bring back snacks starting April 14th. Many other airlines have already stopped blocking the middle seats.
Now to our top talker, and as a dog mom, Betsy, this story really speaks to me. All week long, we've been helping you reset your routine as more of us transition from working from home to the office. And Betsy, I just told you about a little incident I had with my dog.
Poor little Lenny. Well, we've covered your rights as an employee this week, how to help your kids adjust. Now we're talking about your fur babies, and we're tackling dog anxiety. In today's Routine Reset series, our Laura Queso talks with a local expert about how to ease your pup into being gone all day.
Sweet Sadie, she's my dog, such a good girl, suffers from a bit of anxiety, but we give her all the cuddles in the world. I'm not one of the many who's been working from home, but I wonder what would happen if I was working from home and suddenly had to go back to the office. How would she readjust? So we went to an expert to help pet owners, perhaps like you.
Going back to work, I think, can be a more difficult transition because now we've had a couple months to kind of settle in and deal with some stuff. And the dog's like, cool your home.
The first piece of advice, start transitioning slowly. Most dogs have trouble with an abrupt transition. It starts with you leaving the house for work.
If I grab my keys and I throw food at the dog, and I grab my jacket and I throw food at the dog, and I grab my work bag and I throw food at the dog, over and over, it's very Pavlovian. Eventually the dog's like, this is cool. I love it when you get your jacket on.
And practice by leaving a room or the house for 30 seconds. Greet the dog calmly and repeat. And then introduce the car. Drive around the block, come back calmly, and repeat.
You change how that dog feels about any given activity.
Also, leave your best bud entertained. Ramsey suggests turning on the news. WKYC is a great choice. Thanks for joining us this Friday evening. I'm Laura Queso.
The volume is not to drown out everything else. The volume is just to provide some background of people talking.
And play with your dog when you're home, so they play when you're away.
So when we're active and playing tug, you can do lots of stuff with that. There's a good chance during the day, one of my dogs is going to go and grab this by themselves out of the toy bin and start shredding it, which is super productive for a canine.
Toys that challenge your dog to get treats or food are great. There are even board games for dogs that challenge them while having fun. Because much like our sweet Sadie, pets don't love change, but we do know they sure do love their humans. Laura Queso, 3 News.
This is where the cat people are like, oh yeah, my cat's like,
I know it. I know.
See ya.
I know.
About time you leave the house.
But we
Not
love
all
our
cats are
dogs.
like that.
We have to ease them into routines, even if they don't like to change. And hopefully they don't have anxiety. Mine's just likes to sleep most of the time, but some good advice there. You got to ease them into this.
Definitely do. I mean, it's a process, right? And you're going to be focused on getting everybody else ready to go back to work. Certainly, you're at some point going to have to start to face this yourself that you are going back to work.
Extra treats. That's my
There's
advice.
a lot to get into that mindset.
Oh,
certainly.
yes. Oh, yes. All right. Well, still ahead on what's new. Get ready to rock Akron. The special Devo Day happening tomorrow to honor the local band and how you can get in on the fun.
Whip it. And if you are looking for a new job, well, we're going to tell you about some local employment opportunities and some new tools that are being offered to get some pretty good wages. We're also talking about, well, the forecast. We've been saying pothole for the day tomorrow. I think that's putting it a little kindly. But Matt Wentz, the good news is we do turn things around as we go through the weekend.
Yeah, ODOT's going to get right on that. They're going to pave it over. We'll be smoothing things out in no time. You know, as we take a live look at CSU Cam, it's not a bad looking evening outside, but those clouds will build back in. And you know what? It was a balmy day, 64 degrees officially today. That was just after midnight. We spent the day in the 40s. I know. By the time we were up, it was 48 degrees. So we're going to get colder than that. Yeah, we've got a little of the white stuff heading our way. We'll detail that coming up on the other side of the break.
That's always the trick of those almanacs because you just don't know when that took place. That 64 was just after midnight. That one is tricky. All right, coming up for us here, we have our Save the Sauce moment of the day. Astoria Market and Cafe in the Detroit Shoreway neighborhood is a great brunch spot, wine spot, and anything else spot. But really the brunch is top notch. Now you can try different options like scallop and shrimp eggs Benedict, duck and waffles, and lamb and eggs. Kind of fancy stuff, right? But don't worry, you can still order good old French toast and omelets too. And our Doug Tratner made a whole list of the best brunch spots around Northeast Ohio. We have that available for you. WKYC.com/SaveOurSauce. We'll be right back.
Look at the wilder side of our 3 News viewer submissions in the WKYC app. Hey, Al, do you believe in Bigfoot? Well, we've got a guy dressed up as Bigfoot masquerading as one clicking in Cleveland today. Yeah. You know, I believe it's possible that there's a big ape thing like that out there. I do, but I don't think anybody's seen it. And he's certainly not in Rootstown, I'll tell you that.
You You know, this time of the year, the weather is always so interesting, especially when we start talking about lake effect snow. The sun angle is higher, the ground is warmed up a little bit, the lake temperature is coming up, so we actually kind of have to dial it back a little bit more to like an autumn type forecasting situation for the nerds out there, the meteorologists out there. So Matt, the good news is though, we are not going into lake effect season. We're actually coming out of it. We just have to take our time.
Yeah, absolutely, Betsy. You know, we're 95% of our seasonal snowfall is typically in by now, so we know there's not much more to offer, but we have to keep things real around here, and yeah, we can still get snow this time of year. And you're right, I was actually going to mention that it's a very kind of November-ish setup outside in terms of the amount of cold air coming across a 40-plus degree lake water. So there could be some instability developing, especially with that higher sun angle as well. So we'll have to keep our eye out for maybe some stronger or heavier snowfall rates at times tomorrow. Not everyone. All right, where do we stand? This is hopefully the last time I'm going to show this. This is the snowfall throughout the season so far. So where are we probably going to wrap up? Well, below average in Cleveland. We need an epic snowstorm to get up near average. I'm just going to say not going to happen here in the forecast. And you can see Akron's checking in right around average. In Erie, I throw this on here because this is such a telltale of the lake effect this season. Out in Ashtabula, Lake Geauga County, way below average in terms of that lake effect snow. We haven't had a good lake effect winter around here, especially out in the snow belt, in several years. Are we due? Well, we certainly are, but certainly not going to be the case here this year. The big picture, we had the clouds in the rain this morning. It vacated. We had some sun peaks as expected. We're going to bring the clouds back in, though, not just out of the south as we get another wave of low pressure riding along this cold front, but we've also got a flow coming off the lakes as well. Everything kind of meeting together. But this front is going all the way down towards the Gulf Coast. They're going to have record lows across a good portion of the eastern U.S. with this cold air. And you can see what that cold air is doing as you get that prolonged flow. It's not disrupted at all across the lakes. It's kicking off lake effect snow. Nothing particularly heavy, but it's lake effect snow here as we almost enter April. And you can see the wind streams here. Pretty organized flow here. You get across Lake Erie. It's kind of messy at this point, but tonight everything will organize. We'll likely pick up some moisture from Lake Huron, even Superior as well. And we'll kick off those snow showers likely after midnight. Look at the core of this cold air, though. This is some very cold air for this time of year, again, heading south into our area. So snow showers developing tonight. May start with some rain initially, then change over to some snow. This is going to be pretty much area-wide tonight, especially out in the primary snow belt. National Design Mart hour-by-hour forecast. You can see that initial push brings some pretty good snow in here, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. That will sink south. Temperatures tomorrow aren't going to do much. We're going to stay in the low 30s. How about that? You can see the snow will come and go. We'll see sun in between. So if you get some snow, you get that April sunshine tomorrow, it'll melt right off, right? And then we get more snow perhaps with a secondary wave in the afternoon. That may favor some of our secondary snow belt as well. And temperatures will be cold tomorrow night. We're back into the 20s with some lingering lake clouds, but the snow's done on Friday. How much snow? Well, I zipped right through that. Got a hot clicker here, even at home, but maybe an inch, 2, maybe 3 out in the snow belt. Everyone else a trace to a coating or less. All right, Union Home Mortgage 7-day forecast. We warm up. It's going to be slow. Friday's chilly. Saturday and your Easter Sunday look fantastic. Tribe home opener as well. Showers arrive later on next week, but overall looking much more spring-like next week. So we'll see, Romney. We'll see if we're done with the white stuff this year. I have a feeling this may be our last time we're talking about it.
This is an awful April Fool's. Awful. Thanks, Matt.
Right.
All right, well, it's time to see what's clicking in Cleveland. For that, we bring in our digital anchor, Stephanie Haney. Lots to get to today, Stephanie.
There is, Romney, and you know, with opening day for Major League Baseball tomorrow, we have a look at the Tribe's projected batting lineup for the 2021 season. Against the right-handed starting pitchers, the plan seems pretty well set, leading off with Ben Gamel, followed by Cesar Hernandez and Jose Ramirez, with Andres Jimenez in last. Now, that lineup includes 7 left-handed or switch-hitting hitters. Now, against the lefties, there are a few question marks. To check out that projected lineup from our 3 News sports analyst Ben Axelrod, head to WKYC.com. And in addition to opening day, tomorrow is now also Devo Day in Akron. You know these guys. The band is from Akron, and they're nominated for induction in the Rock Hall this year. So Mayor Dan Horrigan declared April 1st a Devo Day and is putting these sculptures that look like their hats all over the city to remind people to vote for them in the fan vote. You can also find cutouts of the band and other fun things around the city, and use the hashtag DeVote to show your support on social media. Oh, I love that pun. All right. Here is just a peek at the wilder side of our 3 News viewer submissions on the WKYC app. Leslie Christensen shared a spring sighting in Rootstown. Nope, not a budding flower, not a chipmunk. It's a little bigger than that. It looks like Bigfoot. Check out what appears to be this Sasquatch just running wild and free, kind of zigzagging around. Of course, our investigative team is still working to authenticate these images, Betsy and Romney, but they did come in fresh today, so we wanted you to see them here first.
Well, that's kind of interesting. I'm always a skeptic.
And me too. Me too. That's all I'm going to say. I'm skeptical.
Stephanie, you are always
was
a
it
wealth
the
of
skin
knowledge.
showing? Was it the skin showing there that's making you skeptical? I don't know.
Right? Little magnifying glass on that one. Stephanie, thank you so much. Always some good stuff in there.
The Cuyahoga County Animal Shelter needs your help getting this adorable pup adopted. JJ is 16 years old and came in as a stray in February. Shelter workers could not get a hold of his humans and were curious about his head tilt. Well, the vet revealed that he likely suffers from chronic ear infections, which have since been treated. It's all good. He's currently a shelter favorite, but they do want to find him his forever home. He is a retriever husky mix who has pep in his step and would do great in a home without cats. So if you're interested, reach out to the Cuyahoga County Animal Shelter if you want to get JJ. Still ahead on What's New, employers want you. We'll tell you which industry leaders are willing to pay for your education and the new hotline to help you find your next job.
Then, mamas, we've all been there, corralling our cubs. This mama bear is the star of our Show Us Something Good. I think we can all sympathize. All right, the pop quiz for today. On this day, back in 1889, the Eiffel Tower first opened to the public. So the question is, how tall is the Eiffel Tower? 1,024 feet, 1,063 feet, or 1,112 feet? The answer when What's New returns. The year was 1889. On this date, the Eiffel Tower first opened to the public. But before the break, we asked you, how tall is the Eiffel Tower? Romney, you have a story about this.
I do. When I was learning my numbers in French, they kind of drilled it into my head. So I know the answer is 1063, which is 1,063 feet.
Okay, well, the original height was 984. How do you say that in French?
Give me a second to think about it. Let me marinate.
They did add on, obviously, to get to the 1,063. The Eiffel Tower was built to celebrate the 100th year anniversary of the French Revolution.
9108. I don't know.
All I know about it is
ha ha ha.
That's it.
There you go. I've seen it, guys. If you have never had the opportunity, if you do get it, go see it, because in person you see what it looks like, and then in person you're like, whoa, it's amazing. So
bucket list.
Clearly I'm not remembering all of my numbers. I got to start counting from one. We'll get there. Okay, in today's segment of Your New Job comes new opportunities for job seekers. A partnership of community organizations has developed a new neighborhood career hotline. It's basically to link people looking for work with employers looking to hire. And as our consumer investigator, Danielle Serino, reports, regardless of your experience or education, they want to hear from you.
You have something to write with?
Operators are standing by, but these customer service reps aren't trying to sell you something. They're looking to get money into your pocket.
The goal is to connect the residents to job training programs.
To become more employable, it better position themselves for employment opportunities.
Ronnie Cannon is with Towards Employment, a nonprofit that helps the underserved find jobs. Adam Allen is with Midtown Cleveland, an economic development agency charged with building that neighborhood. They, along with community groups Burton Bell Carr and Metro West, have created a neighborhood career hotline. A sort of one-stop shop to give residents from 8 emerging neighborhoods tools to get living wages.
There's lots of different ways to get support, to pay for the tuition, to pay for things like childcare assistance, transportation assistance. All these resources are out there, but it can be overwhelming and difficult to navigate.
Here, job seekers 18 and older, including those who've been through the penal system, will be paired with a counselor to explore career options and help find jobs, particularly in the tech, healthcare, and manufacturing sectors, which are in such need of workers that many employers are paying for training. But residents can also learn the soft skills needed to get them in front of any employer.
Helping individuals to, say, update their resumes. We do a lot of interviewing practice. Something as simple as the ability to fill out an application correctly. We also do computer literacy.
The project's being bankrolled by the Fund for Our Economic Future, a public-private partnership that focuses on advancing economic growth in Northeast Ohio. In this case, the emphasis is on Black and Latino residents from economically disadvantaged areas, which is why there's also an option for Spanish-speaking residents, although no job seekers from any neighborhood will be turned away.
We all must play a role in getting Cleveland back up and running, because the pandemic has really impacted our livelihood. And our way of giving back is helping residents.
You can call the job hotline starting Thursday at 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the number at the bottom of your screen. There's also a virtual kickoff event Thursday at 6 p.m. We have a link on our website where you can register. I'm Danielle Serino, 3 News.
Certainly some exciting news. All right, well, you may remember back in February, this was like Jay and I's favorite series. It's the one that we called Reconnecting. Our Lindsey Buckingham followed the journey of Kim Miller as she searched for her biological family. If you'll remember at the end of it, it's her sister. We were so excited about this. Well, she got to meet her for the first time. Well, we want to do another series. If you are missing anyone from your life, or you've always wondered where you came from, or if you've longed to meet a birth parent or a sibling, we want to help you. You can email reconnection@wkyc.com. Again, that's an email to reconnection@wkyc.com, and your story could be featured on 3 News.
On What's New, one mama bear has her paws full. How she managed to help her cubs cross the street ahead in our Show Us Something Good.
Poor girl. Well, then at 6 on What Matters Most, frustrated facilities. Rachel Polanski looks into how dozens of local nursing home and assisted living facilities are firing back after Governor DeWine publicly called them out for allegedly failing at vaccinations. Again, that's coming up at 6.
Hello. Mic check Monica, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hello, hello, hello. Mic check Monica.
Hey, Al, testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Russ Mitchell. Laura is out tonight. We begin with exciting news in the vaccine front.
Oh, today's show is something good. Comes from Winston, Connecticut, where a mama bear had her paws full trying to get all 4 of her cubs safely across a busy street. This poor girl. Thankfully, all the cars around came to a standstill so mama could go back and forth, crossing the road, carrying them in her mouth. Everybody did make it across safely, even though some of the cubs were not cooperating. We always say it's like herding cats. Maybe we have to say it's like herding bear cubs.
You just
and
feel
all
her
of us have been there.
You feel her pain because she's like, stop running across the street.
Billy, get back here.
So cute. The 3 News has a new campaign called Feel the Love, where we're asking all of our viewers across Northeast Ohio to share your reunions with us following the quarantine over the last year. Use the hashtag reunions3 on social media, and you can upload pictures and video to our WKYC app using the Near Me feature. April is National Month of Hope, so we'll be sharing any and all reunion pictures and videos here on What's New next month.
They never get old.
I know, I love those stories.
Well, thank you so much for watching today's What's New, everybody. We certainly do appreciate you staying with us.
What Matters Most with Russ starts right now.
Now at 6, vaccine for kids. Pfizer says its COVID vaccine is 100% effective for children aged 12 to 15, when it could be available and why some parents are still hesitant. Also, on the wrong list, nursing homes are firing back after Governor DeWine says they won't acknowledge if their residents are vaccinated. A 5th term? Is Cleveland Mayor Frank Jackson considering running for re-election? That question came up today after he received an endorsement. We'll have the story. And new ballpark policy. The Cleveland Indians say no Native American face paint and headdresses at the games this year. So, why can you still wear images of Chief Wahoo to the stadium?
From the WKYC studios, this is What Matters Most.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Russ Mitchell. Laura is off tonight. We begin with exciting news on the vaccine front. Pfizer says its vaccine is showing amazing results in some teenagers, and that group could be next in line to get shots. Senior health correspondent Monica Robbins explains.
They started testing the vaccine in